My name is Michelle Sheppard, radio presenter at Joy FM and a diversity consultant.
My name's Dan Rochefort. I'm the president of Globe.
Dan, thanks for joining me today. It's so hard, I think, sometimes coming into some of these shows that we do when I know somebody so personally, and we always have such a fun laugh, but when we got to be serious and actually talk about things, it's sometimes hard to get back on track. But one of the things I love about you is there's so much to you, your sense of humor, your professionalism, and your passions as well. And I thought, you know, the things I often see in our community is you have all these leaders who come in and do so many amazing things for the community. Mm-hmm. We don't get a chance to actually get to know you as a person.
Yep.
And so I'd like to share that with our audience today. I'd like to know a little bit about you and where you come from, actually.
So I'm an Aussie boy, born and bred in Melbourne.
West side, east side?
West side.
No wonder we get along so well.
I came out when I was 18.
Yeah.
As I said to you a little bit earlier, didn't really know what gay was before then. Mm-hmm. It wasn't really spoken about back when I was a kid. In the 80s and 90s.
Yep.
And have been working in banking and finance in the professional services industry for the last 13 or so years.
Oh, that's right. We met when you were working at ANZ, working in their diversity area there.
Yeah, so unofficial title was head homo.
Oh, yeah.
Official title was Australia country lead for ANZ's Pride Network.
Oh, very official.
It was. And yeah, that's absolutely where we were. You were working at Allianz and starting one of your many ventures.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, talking about diversity and inclusion and trans rights and inclusivity and all those types of things.
Now, diversity and inclusion really is a passion of yours, isn't it?
It is. So I was very involved at ANZ in terms of their Pride initiatives, their Mardi Gras campaign and sponsorship. Once I left there, I joined NAB and I partook in their Pride network there just for a little while and joined the team at Globe. Well, perhaps 3 years ago now.
You took the top job, didn't you?
Not straight away. I was coaxed into the vice presidency role.
Much like you did me with coaxing. I get it. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. So coaxed into the vice presidency role, looking after the operational side of Globe, so the event, so the fun stuff.
Yep.
And then cheekily encouraged to take the top job. So I've been president for 2 years now, coming up to re-election this September, October, and unless anyone else wants the top job, I think it's mine again. It's a lot of work, so we'll see how we go.
It is a lot of work, and I've actually, because as people can see on the website, I've been brought on as a consultant to bring a bit more inclusion around trans topics and try and create more of a inclusionary space within Globe, because Globe has a history of being a bit more related to gay professionals, doesn't it?
Look, we're 27 years old this year. We were originally established by some small business owners at a midsummer carnival.
Okay.
It was really around supporting LGBTI-owned small businesses, uplifting them, making professional connections so that they could support each other. And then over the years, we kind of transformed Globe as an organisation that did professional networking for professional individuals. And when I say professional, that doesn't have to be someone that wears a suit and works in an office 9 to 5. We have electricians, we have retail workers, restaurateurs, people who work in the kind of garment industry, a whole range of different people. So professional is quite a broad spectrum. And so we provide an opportunity for them once a month, the second Thursday of the month, to meet, make strong connections, whether that be for professional purposes or otherwise. You, I suppose, brought up a good point. We invited consultants onto the committee late last year, I think it was. And the whole reason being is that, unfortunately, after a period of time, I'm not sure how it happened, Globe very much became a white gay male organisation, or not so much organisation, but the events that we ran. That was our kind of that was our audience, I suppose. And so when I joined, very conscious that we needed to be much more diverse and to better reflect the community at large. So that's one of the reasons why we got you onto the team.
Because you have a history of dealing with Pride networks that were about being inclusionary of everyone, and you're quite passionate about that, aren't you?
Absolutely. So look, when I left ANZ and was doing all of the diversity work there, I didn't really. I wasn't too connected to the community for a little while. You know, I was starting a new role at a new organisation, so I didn't have a lot of time to partake in those types of activities. But there was definitely something missing. it's a lot of hard work. Volunteering is not as easy as you would think. It allows you to do some really fun things and to connect with some really great people that without volunteering you wouldn't be able to connect with. So had I not been volunteering originally with ANZ in my spare time, and then with Globe, I wouldn't have met people like yourself.
Oh, exactly. I still remember that first conversation, actually, when I called up talking about the work that I was doing, and everyone's like, "Oh, Michelle Sheppard," and I'm like, "You know me? You know who I am?" And I think that's one of the things that I really love about yourself is you're somebody who's quite aware of the wider network, who's actually becoming and saying, hey, no, we need to have this. Where I think it's a bit of a changing of the guard, where we've been so focused on sort of the gays, the lesbians, or our own sort of cohort, that we need to start thinking outside. And I think that's one of your great talents, is you can see everyone that needs to be involved.
There's power in coming together and working as one. And we saw that through the marriage equality campaign as an example, where, things got real and things were tough. And had we not, as an LGBTI plus community, come together and to kind of support each other, maybe we still would have got there. Maybe we still would have gotten marriage equality, but we would have been a lot more beaten up and bruised than what we ended up being. So I'm very much conscious of that, and so I have a wonderful group of volunteers around me who make up the Committee of Management at Globe. They range in ages, in ethnicities, in gender and sexual orientation, and I never plead to be the expert. That's why I have a whole panel of people that kind of support and provide me with guidance, and we make decisions together.
Well, I loved standing there with you at one of the events, and we were sharing a beverage, and just had a moment where we kind of just put our arms around each other and went like, wow, how awesome is this? And we saw a number of trans people there, and we saw quite a few folks that just you wouldn't normally see in those particular spaces. And I could see the pride on your face. So seeing where we're at now, where do you see Globe going?
There's a lot of room for Globe to grow as an organisation. The struggle is, as I said, we're volunteer-based. We have one casually paid employee, and he does kind of a lot of the logistics for our events, which we run. There's certainly a lot more opportunity to step more into the employment space to help people who are within our community connect with diverse and inclusive employers, a passion of yours, I know very well. There's a lot more that we can do around uplifting the professionals within our community, so that they can break through the so-called rainbow ceiling and really progress themselves into different companies and organisations. And also for small business, we're going back to our roots, so to speak, and we are really trying to concentrate a lot more on LGBTI-owned small businesses. I suppose the wider world has now realised or woken up to the concept of the pink dollar. And so LGBTI-owned small businesses, or even medium-sized businesses, they should be at the front of the line for that dollar. So, we should be investing back into our community where we can. Helping those small businesses to prosper and grow is really important.
So do you see yourself in the top job for quite some time?
Oh gosh, it depends on what week you ask me. So I'll go up for re-election. I still feel that I have a lot more to contribute to Globe. So, and Ro Allen's pretty comfortable in the commission role, the equality branch. So until that's available,
so that's your pie in the sky. You want the top job?
No, who knows, right? The sky's the limit, and I'll just keep going until someone says, no, you're done now. Thank you. It's someone else's turn. So no, look, I would love to get Globe to their 30th birthday, which is in 3 years' time. Whether I've got the energy for it's another story, but I'll certainly give it a good crack. Because I'd love to really be able to compare what Globe was when I picked it up or when I inherited it, which was great, but then kind of what my legacy has been. And actually, not so much just my legacy, but the legacy of my team. Globe shouldn't just be about me per se, it should be about everyone that makes up Globe. So that's important to me.
Now, definitely putting you on the spot on this one, because I know myself over the last 6 years of coming out, and my passion around building that presence within professional spaces, especially in corporate, that when you normally in the past came to a Globe event, it was normally men, and as a trans woman walking around, it was quite isolating. And so I found I even myself was actually pulling away.
We are shaking things up at Globe. So we recently ran one of our monthly networking events, but we invited all LGBTI women to come along for free. And we had, oh gosh, it was at least 50% makeup of either cis women or trans women or queer folk. It was really cool. It was really cool to see. And we run a smaller event at the start called The Welcome. And it's basically speed dating, but for professionals, so it's more around speed networking. And it was the most diverse mix of people that we've ever seen.
How did that feel to see and all that?
Overwhelming at first, to be honest with you, because we'd never had the opportunity to talk to some of these different people before. So I was certainly a little bit nervous about making sure that we made the right impression. And when I say we, I mean Globe. So making the right impression with these people was very important to make sure that they knew that we weren't being disingenuous.
Well, when you look at it actually in our wider community, and again, my cheeky little call out on this, you know me, is that we've actually become quite segregated as a community. We don't actually work together very much. So like gay men have their gay men spaces and lesbians have their spaces. And a lot of trans folk actually suffer from social isolation. But again, our unemployment rates are quite high. And so to have a space where you can have gay professionals, whether they're men or women, engaging with, say, the trans community alone is a massive, massive change.
It's very important. Trans people, just like anyone else, contribute to society every day.
Some of us too much.
Well, we've got trans people as the heads of health organisations and volunteering groups, and they own and run their own small businesses, or in your case, consult on everything. So there you go. So in those instances, they have a lot to contribute, just like myself or anyone else, and it wouldn't make sense to have a networking organisation and not include those people.
I do believe the art of conversation and old-fashioned networking is actually not as strong as it used to be. So to come into those spaces to get a business card, have that casual drink, and get to know one another is very powerful. I mean, I just know my own personal network actually grew and expanded so much by my first sort of connections with Globe back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, when I first started at Globe, public speaking was not something I was very comfortable with. And to be honest, I kind of had to force myself to get on board. And so Globe provided me that opportunity. I think digital devices really take away from that personal connection. And so when you go and have an interview and it's face-to-face, some people melt. So, being able to come and connect and talk with these like-minded individuals, even if you don't realize it, you're building up certain skills automatically without even knowing. And that's one of the many ways in which we try and prepare our community and uplift them.
I do have to say, and probably premature of me actually mentioning this as well.
No, go.
I mean, we're in a safe space, just between you and I talking. No one else can hear us.
No.
That we had an amazing event ran just for trans professionals on its own as well, just to even engage the trans community. There was a room we went to. We had a large number of leaders, influencers within the room, within the wider trans community. That it was so powerful to see, and I myself kind of sat back and just drank in just the vibe of the room.
Perfect.
And I'm so looking forward to seeing what will come from these sort of things. But again, first of its kind, bringing this large number of people together to see this change. Dan, it's so awesome.
Look, I don't know why we haven't done it before, and I'm really upset I didn't make the event. I was unwell at home, man flu. But the plan is to work with Transgender Victoria to almost provide a pathway into Globe networking. So to first perhaps provide a safe space for the trans community to come and network on a more of a professional level. And as they get comfortable with themselves and their own skills and talking about what it is they do, starting to bring them along to Globe. And so we can integrate them with the wider community, because they've got so many important things to tell us.
Yeah.
And we just want to make sure that we've provided them with some of the skills that perhaps that they need that they haven't had the opportunity to build before before they come along to Globe. But they can still come to Globe whenever they like.
Oh, of course, of course.
And we have some members who have been with Globe for a long time, who are from the trans community, and we see them every month, and we couldn't be happier to have them.
Well, you're seeing a lot of trans folk really leading the way and picking up the gauntlet of change, and doing a lot of the trainings and stuff we see within diversity spaces as well. And so, yeah, it's just so exciting to see that all come together. We just had the closure of the community awards as well, which ended back at the beginning of August, which was
the nominations.
The nominations, yeah. So finalists, I think, are about to come out or just come out.
Yeah.
And so, tell me more about the community awards.
Oh gosh, it is my favourite event of the year.
Personally, it kind of is mine as well.
Yeah, look, we've partnered with the Victorian government. This will be our 6th year running the Globe Community Awards. It's an opportunity for the Victorian community to recognise the unsung heroes that we have. People who contribute back, uplift the community and go that kind of extra step to make sure they're supporting their peers. It's really important, and we've had some wonderful trans folk who have been recognised throughout the years. One of them, yourself.
Well, I got the ANZ Small Business Award actually as a winner back in 2016, which was great.
You did. 2015, our first trans LGBTI person of the year, Sally Goldner, who's on the judging panel for us this year. We're very excited about. We've had Georgie Stone.
She won the year that I did my award as well.
Yeah,
so.
Such an incredible young woman. Last year, the LGBTI Person of the Year, Jeremy Wiggins. Such a cool guy, like really lovely and down to earth. So the community awards provides us an opportunity to celebrate the achievements within our community. It's really, really important that we celebrate the excellence that we have, because all too often we focus on the negatives.
What I love about the awards, so you basically voted by your peers on a panel, which is really great instead of actually the community voting on you necessarily.
No, you're right. It's not a popularity contest.
No.
We have a separate panel of judges made up of varying people from within and around the community that represent each aspect of it, or as many as we can possibly get. And it's very factually judged. There's no emotion in it. It's actually looking at the tangible things that you have done to uplift the community. And first of all, there's so many amazing people. So the judge's job is really, really difficult. And so it's not a popularity contest in that the community kind of vote for their friend or their favourite drag queen or whatever that might be. It's a little bit different to that.
The one award I think that really stands out, that really shows inclusion in the wider community, is that you have the Straight Ally of the Year award as well. And the Straight Ally, there's so many heroes within there that have done so much, whether they're parents of trans children, whether they are, someone like Angie Green, who's stand-up events, doing those sorts of things. They're doing so much work that some of us we don't even celebrate, and they're doing it for us.
Yeah, look, we've copped a little bit of flack over the last couple of years calling it Straight Ally of the Year, and I understand anyone can be an ally. Don't get me wrong.
Agreed.
But the other 9 awards are specific to the LGBTI++ community, and so this one award really tries to highlight that. That individual who identifies as heterosexual that doesn't have to go and cause a little bit of a commotion and support the community, but they go out of their way to.
Oh, they really do.
Dr. Michelle Telfer from the Royal Children's Hospital doing so much for trans kids. Angie Green with stand-up events and running her events to raise money to support kind of young kids in sport who are coming out and those types of things. They do it because they either have an emotional connection with the community, so Angie with her gay brother, or Dr. Michelle Telfer, knowing it's just the right thing to do to support these kids, to figure out who the hell they are and to let them, or to provide them with some of the skills and the ability to be able to do that. And so recognising straight allies is very important.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, see, I see moms all the time who go to these like events, these stalls, whatever, for the Pride Cups, everything, and they'll go from dusk till dawn, and they'll give everything they can. And there's sometimes, to be honest, I've seen some of our own community who don't sit there next to them and work with them. And so we need to make sure we do celebrate those folks. Now, the Community Awards are coming up on the 11th of October.
It is, so it's Friday the 11th of October, and tickets are available at globemelbourne.com.au/awards.
So I really look forward to actually sharing a drink with you on the night, and just celebrating our community and the achievements that all of us have done throughout the year. Thank you again, Dan, for joining me today. My name is Michelle Sheppard. You have been watching Event TV.